sewer increase in costs. If you take the figures that are in the agreement signed by the three municipalities, it's 1.414 million to operate the plant. It was 180,000. These are costs that Dylan had in their reports, okay, to operate the lagoon. That's about 7.5 times increase. So if you work it out of 2,770, I think you said, 2,770 users. Okay, if you divide, if you take the 48.16% or whatever it is that we're responsible for of the 1.414 million, and divide it by that 48 point something percent, you divide it then by the 2,770 present users, and you will know how much additional money you have to pay on top of what you're doing now.
Glenn? Sorry, you done?
I wasn't, but let him speak, because he's going to try and refute what I said.
No, actually, I got an idea. On the slides for all the numbers that we got through when you're doing your presentation, maybe it would be useful if you made the slides even print the handout so that net costs, Lambton Shores costs can be color coded, so that people don't get too confused, because there's a lot of, there's too many numbers.
I understand. Yeah.
So if it was laid out so that people can actually know what each ratepayer is going to have to pay for the treatment facility, and what each ratepayer is going to have to write the check for, as you recommend, tertiary systems. The net cost is the gross cost, unless the world changes and legislation happens. But make it as, it has to be a lot simpler than that.
That'll happen, Glenn, I'm sure.
And was it out of focus, or do I need new glasses?
I don't know.
John, is that your fault?
I moved the table up and didn't refocus.
I know, so much better. Thank you.
That will help some.
Further question, Glenn?
Yeah, a question regarding the Goose Marsh sewer line.
Yes.
You were told that the municipality, Zone 4, only will only have to pay $1 million, something like that.
That's right.
Well, two things. In the report from the treasurer, did she not say it was Zone 3 and Zone 4 were going to be billed for that? And also that would only be that low if we got money from South End.
Well, yes, South End has $300,000 to pay towards it, but they have not paid that yet. It's
So-
still, we're bearing that cost right now.
So
So we have about 1.1 million. That's our own cost. I don't know, it's not necessarily assigned to Zone 3 or Zone 4. I think we as a municipality are bearing that cost, probably through user rates. So it's a total of $1.4 million that we're bearing right now until South End repays us their portion. And yeah, does that answer your question properly?
Yes, I know. The other question that flows out of that, something else you said, in the budget, capital budget, it was done for 2011. Shows starting in 2012, there's going to be 500,000 collected for the North End sewer system.
Yes.
And after that, for the next, I can't remember if it was 5 years or 6 years, it's $4.7 million for a year.
That's right.
Will that be assigned to all these properties in Zone 3, Zone 4? That's a question I've never been able to get an answer to.
Well, only if only if sewer systems are installed in Zone 3 before will it be applied. It won't until that point, so current users are going to have to bear that. That is my understanding of it. Until you're online, there's no way that you can recover those costs from you.
Okay, thank you.
Walter,
Yeah, Walter Kratz from Southcott. I want to speak to the issue of the Zone 4 notifications. The Ministry of the Environment issued a letter to Lambton Shores, Peggy Van Mierlo West, and clarified for her the requirements for notifying residents. And one specific point stated that each resident had to be notified by mail about this particular type of project. Now, this was done for Zone 3 the second time around. But the question remains whether that was done for Zone 4 even the first time around. Consequently, the question shouldn't be homeowners of Zone 4, whether they were notified, the question should be, ask Lambton Shores staff whether they sent a letter out. And if they didn't send a letter out, then it's clear cut that the Zone 4 homeowners were not notified. Okay, so I don't think you have to survey the 3 guys from Zone 4. In fact, I don't think you have to notify or survey the people from Zone 4 whether they were notified, because clearly they were not notified to the standard that the Ministry of the Environment required. Okay, that's item 1. Item 2, I've heard any number of times the statement made, the septic systems of Zone 3 were failing. I've seen a map issued by Lambton Shores that shows all sorts of red spots of systems in Southcott Pines, in the north end of Southcott Pines, failing. In fact, I see a red spot on my friend Mr. Matska's lot. And we all know, and Mr. Matska will tell us, how much he paid to have his system refurbished. The question should be, has anyone surveyed Southcott Pines or any other part of Zone 3 or Zone 4 to find out whether any of those systems have been refurbished? I don't believe that has taken place. So to make the statement that the systems are failing without having actually verified that any of them are failing is incorrect. I suggest you ask the question, have them surveyed. That's all.
I can answer that partially. When we talked with Corinne Nada, who is the building inspector, she said when we asked that question, can you give us a list of those that have been, she said, I don't have the staff to do that. So it's a matter of, the data is there, but it's.
So we can't actually categorically say that the systems are failing. I know of 3 houses on my street where the septic systems were redone. Okay, so I believe that that statement should be retracted.
Just to answer your question, that drawing that you're talking about, the red drawing, that was based on ages of septic, not whether they were being failed. Dylan had talked about failing in their.
It's okay, mine was replaced and it still shows as a red one as though it were 1950.
Yeah,
So your chart's wrong.
okay.
Your chart's wrong all over the place. I got 6 people on my.
Don't interrupt him, Dick. Come on, he's talking.
Did it go through the county of Lambton? Did you go through the county of Lambton and let them know that you replaced your bed?
You gotta get a permit.
Okay,
You can't put a septic in without a permit, Dave.
yeah, just making sure.
You think I did dig it myself?
What's that?
Carl,
I'm just asking a question.
Walter, just on your point, you raise an interesting point, and I think our staff, you recall at the time, there was that MOE requirement at the time when the Zone 4, it wasn't, so the requirement at the time was what, notification that would be newspaper, or, so if that wasn't the requirement at the time, that each individual property owner received notice, that would explain that.
Well, I
The
think I got it.
letter from, I got a copy of the letter, okay? Because I was the cause of the letter to begin with. And it was not a change in process, it was a definition of the process. And the definition stated in that letter that for this type of a project, where every homeowner is affected, it is a requirement that every homeowner be notified specifically.
In that time that it should have been done, that was the policy at the time. Is that what you're saying? That's what she said.
That's,
In other words, when
at any time,
no, but but what I'm getting at is if the EA for Zone 4 was done in 2009, was that the policy in 2009 that each individual property owner must be notified?
it wasn't a policy, it was an interpretation of the rule. And the Ministry of the Environment provided interpretation of that rule, provided it in 2010 for Zone 3, and as a consequence of that interpretation, the Zone 3 EA was redone.
I'm wondering if that was because of your impetus on that, because of your suggestion that they changed their, because it makes sense, you should be notified, yeah.
And they should still be notified.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had an unfortunate period of time where I worked for the post office. And I got involved in some of these